we do.
You're listening to Philly's own Matthias, aka Mr. 16 Bars, that real hip hop.
We try to tell people that Philly is a special breed. They hate to see us on top, they hate to see us on. They hate to see us come up, they hate we on. They hate the moves that we make because it's made to break them. We give them knowledge on tracks and hope our words can save them. I guess it's hard to give props when you know you lesser. So we right on your heels, I hope you feel the pressure. Rappers faking a role, my shoes will never fit them. Before you come at a king, I let my soldiers get them. I'm from Philly with hot corners, they turn chilly. Tight shirts with tight jeans, they never feel me. Young boys confused, they think I'm too preachy. Old head in the game and still rep my city. I'm from Philly where hot corners they turn chilly. Tight shirts with tight jeans, they never feel me. Young boys confused.
Welcome to this episode of Philly on the Rise. As you know, I'm your host, Michael W. Pleasant. This week, Philly on the Rise finds us in our downtown studios, the downtown Center City studios of Philly on the Rise. We're actually joined by a very important special guest, Councilman Allan Domb. It's been a few months since he's assumed the position of Councilman at Large, and he's got a lot of projects going on that you need to know about, projects that affect you, different initiatives he's working on, and we're glad that he's taken some time out of his schedule to join us here on the program. Councilman Allan Domb, welcome.
Nice to see you, Michael. Thank you.
Welcome to Philly on the Rise. How's it going?
Thanks for having me here.
Yeah.
So it's just over 100 days, going pretty good so far.
Yeah. So this is your first 100 days in office?
First 100 days in office.
Has it been what you thought it would be?
I didn't really know what to expect. And I will say this, that it's in many ways, it's been a great experience for me. And I will say this, it's very interesting. The amount of respect that people within City Hall have is tremendous. I never realized that. And it's very people are very respectful.
Sure.
And that's a good thing. I think it's really good.
Yeah, respect is always good.
Very good.
Let's talk about you for a little bit, because you were a very successful real estate developer.
What do you mean were?
Okay, you are a very successful real estate developer, quite a few number of years, and obviously you've jumped into the arena of politics. Let's talk about some of those skills and how you to take the skills and matriculate them from being successful in real estate to successful in politics.
So I should tell you that I've been a realtor for the last 36 years.
Yes.
And I started doing development in 1999. I'm cutting down development because of my involvement with the city, but I'll continue to do real estate brokerage and sales and rentals and so forth. But I think a lot of those skill sets have to do with managing assets and understanding debt and understanding how to hiring and firing people and managing business. We have a $4+ billion budget in City Hall. And there's a lot of financial skills that are needed, and I believe in that area. And the reason why I got so involved is I was president of the Greater Philadelphia Association of Realtors for the last 3 years. I was president back in 1990. They asked me to come back again. And I realized there's some issues with the city that I thought I could maybe help with.
Sure. And
I'm doing this strictly to help the city, because the city's been great to me.
Okay.
I came here making $14,000 a year in 1977. And now I'm making a little more than that.
Just a little more.
Just a little bit more.
Okay.
But I'm actually donating my council salary to the public schools.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And I've actually decided to donate to 25 to 30 schools, anywhere from $2,000 to $3,000 each school. And we're actually going to each school, asking the principals what they need, and buying whatever they can for $2,000 to $3,000. It's not a lot, but it's something.
They need the help, for sure.
Some help. And so I'm doing this because the city's been great to me, and I want to give back.
Understood.
And so the last real estate business person like myself was actually in 1917. It was Albert M. Greenfield.
Oh, wow.
And he served for 2 years and quit.
Okay.
But
We're talking almost 100 years ago.
99 years.
Yeah, that's a long time.
Right. But here's an example of an area that was developed that my attention while I was president of the Board of Realtors. That is the amount of tax delinquents that we have in the city, and specifically those related to real estate. And so right now we're sitting on about $350 million of real estate taxes that are delinquent, and about $150 million of water and sewer bills that haven't been paid. And our total delinquency, according to the Revenue Finance Department, is about $700 to $750 million, roughly.
Yeah.
That changes depending on the date you collect the data, but that's roughly the range. And I actually feel we could do a better job putting some new tools in place to collect the real estate taxes. What's interesting on the real estate taxes, this is really fascinating.
Yeah.
I was told recently that 40% of the actual bills of real estate taxes are from people who don't live in Philadelphia.
Okay.
The more staggering statistic is that almost 60 to 70% of the dollars are people who don't live in Philadelphia, which is then starving our city budget and starving our schools, because as you know, every real estate tax that gets paid into the city of that $1, 55 cents goes to the school district and 45 cents goes to the city's general fund.
And I know one of your initiatives is to go after those folks who have all of that tax money that they actually owe the city. How exactly do you plan to go after them?
So right now, by the way, Mayor Kenny, Council President Clark, my colleagues in City Council, extremely cooperative. We've authorized now a study, a feasibility study, to determine the best way to collect the delinquent taxes. And I have my own opinion, and my opinion is what New York City does, because New York City had a similar problem in the 90s. They collected about 88 to 90%. Today they collect 99%.
Okay, yeah.
Now, we were collecting in the high 80s. Now we're collecting around 91, 92%, I believe.
Sure, yeah.
So, but those 8 points are a lot of money. So those 8 points could be $70, $80, $90 million a year.
Yeah,
so there's a lot of money there that we're leaving on the table. And remember, that money isn't from Philadelphians who owe it. It's from people who don't live in Philadelphia.
Correct.
Many of them are investors in sections of the city who aren't just paying the taxes to the city of Philadelphia.
Yeah, yeah.
So the process is to kind of copy what New York City did. They put a plan in place that was extremely effective.
Okay.
And that plan, I believe, can really increase our tax collection rates.
And we're talking about a plan that's going to happen over several years.
Probably take a year or two to do.
Okay,
Not
understood.
several, but I mean, it's a very, very efficient plan. It becomes a tool of the Revenue Department. And every year they use this tool in order to collect the taxes, and it's worked successfully in New York City.
And right now you're in the feasibility
We're just starting the
study.
feasibility. I would see if it's something that, that or any other plan. I don't really care what the plan is.
Yeah.
My goal is to collect the money.
Sure, and put it to use in the city of Philadelphia. Let's talk about some of the initiatives that you're involved in, because quite often we can find you throughout the city speaking and kind of sharing your feelings and your thoughts. Talk to us about some of the other items that are near and dear to your heart.
Well, several things, but probably number one right now, because this Monday, April 18th, is the deadline, but you can still file after April 18th. You can still file after that date.
Yeah.
Is the Earned Income Tax Credit. EITC.
Okay.
EITC.
EITC.
Right,
All right.
EITC. 215-686-9200.
Is that your...
That's the phone number for the city of Philadelphia
Okay.
to file for an Earned Income Tax Credit. Let me tell you what it's about.
Yes.
Last year, we left the city of Philadelphia, left $100 million on the table that could have gone to 40,000 of our people, our residents, in the working poor, those making $8 to $20 an hour.
Okay.
We have about 400,000 people in poverty in this city.
Wow.
We have about 1,560,000 residents. 26% are in poverty. But keep in mind, Michael, that 40,000 of those 400 were eligible for checks. They just don't know about it. And to me, that's crazy. I mean, the money's federal money. It's not city money or state, it's federal money. It's not, this isn't a Democrat or Republican issue.
Correct.
Every one of us should be saying, find the people who qualify and have them fill out the forms.
So is it that folks don't know? They weren't
just
made
don't know.
aware?
I'll give you some examples, because this is really important stuff.
Yeah.
Single parent of 2 kids,
Okay.
making $43,000 or less, married, 2 children, 49 or less, can get a check from the federal government up to $5,200, and you can file back 3 years. So 3 times 5,200 sounds like 15,600.
Yeah,
it's like real money.
Yeah, amazing. Okay.
This is real
okay.
money.
Yeah.
Now the benefit is we could help 40,000 people, and $100 million goes into the Philadelphia economy. And by the way, by not claiming it, it sits in Washington. We never see it.
Okay.
Our residents don't get the money. And to me, there's nothing more important than getting this word out.
There seems to be, there should have been some type of marketing program or some type
I will
of...
say this. The administration's been on top of this. The Revenue Department's been on top of this. Finance, City Council's talked about it. Everyone's promoting it, but the more awareness, the better. We actually sent a letter. Here's how this should get solved. Ready?
Yeah.
We sent a letter to President Obama a few weeks ago. And so think about this. It's for the working poor.
Yeah.
That means they filed a tax return.
Correct.
That means we know how many children they have and what their income is.
Correct, correct.
We sent a letter asking him to look into the IRS, the Internal Revenue Service, taking the information of the Earned Income Tax Credit and merging it with the tax returns from the IRS. There's your point where they could match the two together and just automatically send out the checks.
Yes. Very good idea.
Seems like an easy solution.
Correct.
We haven't had a response yet, but I'd like to build a coalition of people in government, and whether it's our senators and congressmen, and I know our mayor's behind it, so is the president of City Council. But I mean, this is something that's national.
Sure.
This isn't just Philadelphia. We happen to have a Philadelphia issue. Every city has an issue.
Correct.
People don't know about programs that are available to them, and the federal money has set aside $100 million last year. Can you imagine that? Is there anything I could do as a city council person that's more important than getting $100 million into the hands of 40,000 people who need it?
Yes. And who need it and could
So
use it.
if you talk about something that's passionate to me, as you can tell,
It's written all over your face.
that's it.
Correct.
That is it. That's the most important thing I can do to help people.
Yes. You mentioned the 26%. That's a staggering number of folks that are in poverty in Philadelphia.
Right.
What other ideas or initiatives do you have about getting those folks out of that poverty?
So there's a couple. We have to do that, by the way.
Yeah.
We have to attack that issue.
Correct.
It's a huge problem, and it's through jobs. And it probably, it starts with the mayor's initiative for pre-K.
Yeah.
That's a big piece. Starts
Yes.
with that initiative, because that's really dealing with the issue from the ground up, coming up through the school system.
Okay.
But it starts with education. And so there's several ways of dealing with it. But number one, the first goal of our city should be, instead of keep taxing the existing people that are here, expand our base. Make the base bigger, so those of us who are paying taxes don't have to keep paying more, but we bring more people to the table who will add money into our.
And how do we expand that base? Are you
Job
talking?
creation.
Okay. Yeah.
And there's several ways to do it, whether it's creating jobs at the port or creating jobs in technology. Just to give you one example, Michael, we have about 14,000 jobs in tech. New York City, 16 years ago, had 0 jobs in tech. Today, New York City has 543,000 jobs in tech.
Amazing.
We have
okay.
14. So that's a
Yeah.
big area of growth that we could focus on.
Yeah.
And the bigger factor of tech is that there's an economic multiplier of a job creation. So when you create one job, there's a multiplier effect. Tech has the highest multiplier effect. For every one technical job created, there's 5 other jobs created.
Okay.
1 or
yeah.
2 within the company and 2 on the outside.
Okay.
Which is huge.
Yes.
So what kind of jobs are created? Maybe there's a high-paying tech job, and maybe there's a support job, maybe there's an administrative job, and then the goods and services those people buy could be a restaurant job, it could be a retail job. It spins the economy.
Sure.
Which is great.
Yeah.
It's like building a new hotel, and all these jobs are created.
Sure. Yeah.
So tech is important.
Okay.
Tech is important. But more important is the education. And what the mayor's doing with pre-K is a great idea, and I'm hoping that'll happen.
So does that mean you're in favor of the soda tax?
I'm totally in favor of the initiatives to do the work. I have not yet decided how we should pay for it.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm in favor of the work. I think you got to do the initiatives.
Sure.
The question is, how do we pay for it?
Yeah.
One of the ideas I have that we should use in the public schools is copying a great model already, which is the Cristo Rey School at 5200 North Broad Street.
Yeah.
The basic concept of Cristo Rey is that we want every child to work 1 day a week in a job, in an environment where they're mixing with adults who are working. Tremendous experience for young people.
Yeah.
So the Cristo Rey model simply is the following. There's about 360 students. It's a private school.
Okay.
And they're going to graduate this year with this model close to 100% of their students.
Wow. Okay.
100%. Now the qualifications to get in, family of 4 must make less than $32,000 a year, so their families are in poverty.
Yeah.
Many of the kids have no dads, some have no moms.
Okay.
It's really a very sad situation in many cases. But look what they're doing with these kids. Okay, it's just amazing how they're transforming the lives of these young people.
And what's actually happening? What's the
So
model? What's the program?
Here's what happens. Companies are sponsoring children, basically. Companies pay $35,000 a year, and they get employment for the week from Cristo Rey students who man the companies. One Cristo Rey student goes Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So it's basically 4 students who job share.
Okay. Yeah.
On Fridays, they alternate.
Yeah.
And so you have a student from maybe 9 to 3:30, 9 to 4, and they work in your company. I'm doing this at my own real estate company.
Yeah,
So I
okay.
spent $35,000.
Sure.
And I'm having students come in. And by the way, these kids are great.
Yeah.
They're not on Facebook. They're not fooling around. They're working. They're like focused. They're so happy to be there. One asked me 2 weeks ago if she could work for me in the summer.
Okay.
And I said, absolutely. And actually, I'm going to pay her, okay, for the work.
Yeah.
But it's just very heartwarming. But more importantly, it's the way to go. And here's why. 1 day a week, we should have our public schools copy this model. 1 day a week, students should be required to work in a company for free.
Huh.
Because the experience and the social capital they build with the people around is huge.
It's almost like an internship.
It is an internship.
Yeah.
It's kind of take Drexel from the Drexel program into the high school program.
Okay, yeah.
It'll require every student 9th to 12th grade. Here's the benefit. Companies will have the ability to mold young people and maybe offer them jobs at the end.
Sure, yeah.
Now, I would even be in favor of offering tax credits to a company that molds a young student from 9th to 12th grade in a job and hires them.
Okay.
This is how we can take people from
Uh-huh.
having no job
Sure.
to having a job.
Uh-huh.
And so keep in mind that expands the base. But I think the Cristo Rey model is one of the best I've ever seen.
Sure.
It's basically the Drexel model, but scaled back for high school.
Understood.
Keep in mind, 360 students, they're going to graduate 100%. We don't have that in the Philadelphia public schools.
No, not at all. How long has this school been in existence?
Now it's been 4 years, but there's 25 or 26 Cristo Rey schools across the country.
Okay, okay.
And it's a private school. No money is given. So some parents pay small amounts of money, but the majority of the money comes from companies that sponsor it.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, for the public school model, I'm suggesting that we just allow 1 day a week a student in 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th grade to work in a job, whether it's ARA Food Services or Urban Outfitters or Comcast or Allan Domb Real Estate or Star Restaurants, whatever it might be, or hospitals, University of Penn,
Yeah.
whatever it is, or law firms, whatever it is.
Sure.
Give them that 1 day a week. 1 day a week. I actually think it's more important being in a working environment 1 day a week than being in school for that 1 day.
Now, is this some type of resolution you may introduce one day? Are you in a feasibility study?
I'm thinking about it, but I don't think I have the control of the school system to do that. That's the reality.
Well, we can always hear your ideas and
always
share
hear
our
the ideas,
ideas, right?
But I think what I'm trying to do is connect the business community with schools, so people can see the path. You know what? If I graduate, I'm going to get a job.
Yeah.
You have to connect those two together. Right now, I don't feel we're really connected.
Okay, okay. Some very good, interesting, unique ideas from Councilman Allan Domb. Let's end the show with a nugget, a fact, an unknown fact that you don't mind sharing with folks about Allan Domb.
I will tell you an unknown fact. I watched a movie about 2 months ago called Fed Up.
Huh.
And it has to do with the amount of sugar that we eat every day and how it's changed dramatically in the last 25 years.
There's been an increase.
Huge.
Yeah.
That we don't realize. And I'm not just talking about soda. I'm
Okay.
talking about everything we eat.
Yeah.
Everything. So I decided since February 14th to stop eating sugar.
Since February 14th.
February 14th. That's 2 months ago.
What's been the results?
So I've lost 19 pounds. Even though
Get
you can't
out of
really tell.
town.
I've lost
No, you look
19
great. You look great, trust
I've
me.
lost 19 pounds.
Okay, that's good.
In 2 months. It's
Okay.
insane.
Is this with exercise as well, or just not eating?
Minimum, some exercise, but not
Okay.
a lot. Not a lot.
Okay.
It's really cutting back on no sugar.
There's something called that, I think it's a non-fructose corn syrup that's in virtually everything.
Everything.
Okay.
You don't realize if your audience could listen or watch the movie Fed Up, it'll change their lives. It'll change how they raise their young children. It'll change the obesity levels in our country.
Diabetes will
Drop.
plummet. Yeah.
Yes. I mean, it'll just be better health across the board. It's amazing the amount of sugar that has been put into our products in the last 25 years.
How did you wean yourself off of sugar? Because I love an Arizona tea myself. I love an Arizona tea. How did you wean yourself off of the
I
sugar?
just decided anything with sugar I'm not gonna touch.
Okay. Was it that you just went cold turkey that easy?
Turkey.
Okay. I guess
It's
you have
easier
some
for me to do
discipline.
cold turkey than to just take a little.
Okay.
I don't know what it means to take one piece of cake. I'll eat the whole piece. I'll eat actually the whole cake.
Is it vanilla or chocolate?
Yeah, right. It's not like you open a box of cookies, they're gone.
They're gone. Okay.
So I just don't take one. That's
Okay. Understood. So you have some really, really strong discipline.
you know what? I've been eating a lot of fruits, a lot of vegetables. I've been eating meat. I've been eating chicken. I've been
Yeah.
eating fish. I eat all the protein, no problem.
Sure. Okay. Okay.
I love steak.
Yeah.
Just put it out there. I love steak. And so I'll eat a steak or I'll have a great piece of broiled chicken.
Yeah.
I'm okay with it.
Okay. All right. I know you mentioned some ideas about Ed Snyder. He passed
We did.
a couple days ago, and he's meant wonders. I mean, tons of wonders for the city of Philadelphia. What ideas do you have about honoring his legacy?
Well, actually, at City Council, we proposed a resolution honoring Ed Snyder, who passed away this past week. And it was co-sponsored by Councilman Heenan, Councilman Squilla, Councilman Johnson.
Yeah.
And basically honoring a man who's had a legacy in Philadelphia for over 50 years and has done a lot, not just with the Flyers, but with the sports community and the whole community of Philadelphia.
Youth. Yeah, it's amazing what he's done.
His hockey, he has his hockey camp.
Right, right.
It's been very philanthropic throughout the city.
Yeah, yeah.
So, I mean, it's just been he's been a huge figure and a great. You know what's great about Ed Snyder? He wants to win. He wanted to win.
Correct. Correct.
He wanted to win, and he would fight until he did win many times. He would never give up. He was a winner, and that's a great spirit for Philadelphia. He was a winner.
Correct,
He was
correct.
He was like a Rocky almost.
But he was, actually flesh and bones. Flesh and
he
bones.
was the real deal.
Yeah, yeah.
And he, even this past year, I heard he was calling them and trying to motivate them to win.
Sure,
That's
sure.
a great ability, and to have that talent is huge. And he was a leader. Let's face it, that's a leader.
Someone who can definitely model our lives after.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Allan Domb, thank you for joining us for this segment of Filling the Ride. It's been a
my
pleasure having
pleasure.
you.
Thank you.
Hopefully you can come back at some
be
time in the
happy to.
future.
Yes,
Yeah, most
absolutely.
definitely. City of Philadelphia, you've enjoyed some of Allan Domb and some of his concepts, his theories, his initiatives. He's doing some things, working hard for you, so please support him. I know you're city council at large, so how can folks find you?
I'm actually trying to become, instead of extra large, I'm trying to become regular.
Well, that's because you've given up sugar, right?
Right. But they can find me through my office at 215-686-3414.
Okay, and obviously we'll put your email and your Facebook. You're kind of all over those, all over those mediums. Thanks a lot once again.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us for this segment of Filling the Rise, and we'll see you soon.
That real hip hop.
Y'all know how we do.
You're listening to Philly's own Matthias, aka Mr. 16 Bars. That real hip hop.
We try to tell people that Philly is a special breed. They hate to see us on top. They hate to see us on. They hate to see us come up.